Well, I think today is a great lesson. We had this prepared. Does anybody use ChatGPT already? So that's part of what we're going to go through today. For me, I use it quite frequently, and I haven't had issues with it until about an hour and a half ago when I tried to log in and their system's down. And so when we had a whole team meeting built off of, I'm on the 4, yeah. Both of them were logged out. So it's not, we got back in 2 minutes ago. Yeah. So it is up and working, but we had to create a different team meeting in about 15 minutes. And so we have 2 things to go through today, which is great. Yes. Softball. Yes. Softball tournament, September 15th. Do you guys have a sign-up sheet?
Not this. We just wanted to check with you guys. We have a slot reserved for Keller Williams for a team. You guys have won this and played in every year.
It's so fun.
So we have that. We just wanted to see if you guys still want to do a team this year. We've got players. It's co-ed, like has been. We just want to make sure that we got the team slot rated. You guys still want.
For sure. Who would be interested in playing some softball?
It's the 15th, the Friday night. We have
It's on a Friday.
Friday Night Lights football. Yeah,
And
it's super fun. I'm sure we could do a team.
We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get a team together.
Yeah.
I'm confident we'll get a team together.
Yeah. Thanks, Stephen.
Yes, thank you. Thanks. Sweet. So Real AI is the conversation for today. Anybody want to guess on what that stands for? I'm a walking billboard today. Agent intelligence. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Agent intelligence. And this is something that they briefly talked about in family reunion this past year. And it's the reality that most industries are going to be impacted by artificial intelligence. Would you agree with that? Okay. The question is, how do you think it's going to impact you specifically, your business? And a lot of that comes down to how are you adapting right now and how are you adapting over the next 2 to 3 years? And so we're going to go through how you can really make sure that you're at the forefront of providing the best quality service to your clients, that you are ahead of the trends, really effectively dealing with some of the challenges that we face in our industry, as well as really leaning into the opportunities of this time as well. And so we're going to go through quite a few pieces on this, but I'm going to start with a little video, and then we'll jump into the topic.
Is there if you're prepared to take advantage of. Is there if you're prepared to take advantage of. There are thousands of occupations awaiting the workers who are qualified to fill them.
Survival is going to go not to the strongest or the most intelligent, but the most adaptable.
There are tests which will help you choose work which fits your level of capacity best.
Almost all jobs are becoming technology jobs.
We have to be more intentional about how training and education matches to actual tasks and jobs.
Many people today are working at things which were their hobbies a few years ago.
For the first time, literally, substantial and rapidly growing numbers of people will have choice.
We have to be aware of 2 things that are happening right now in the world of work. The first, we're realizing we're in for a much different kind of future, and we're racing to figure out how we can help individuals and businesses get ready. The second, we're starting to become highly aware that the more you push one narrow metric of success, money, growth, profit, at the expense of other life factors, the further we get from actually achieving true sustainable success. So we know the future of work will be different, and we can't keep doing things the same old way. A new way of work needs to emerge. 89% of the companies that were on the Fortune 500 list in 1955 are no longer on the list today. These are the businesses that had the most resources, the most talent, the greatest technology, the biggest network, And we've proven they rise and fall fast.
This really is the end of an era. Blockbuster will close all of its remaining stores, about 300 of them by early January.
Well, what went wrong with Kodak? How could it have gone wrong?
It's so hard to keep up with change, and change is speeding up. So what's the next few decades going to look like? Whether you're running a business or just running your life, that question is essential. In the last few decades, there was a shift of mind that started to define business success as one thing: money. This isn't my opinion. We can see evidence of this mindset. And the question is, has this singular focus worked out for people? Has it worked out for businesses? There's good reason to believe it hasn't. It's taken us time to understand our mistake and let it sink in. The old pursuit of work is not what's fully needed for the future. So then what is the answer? What are the real drivers of tomorrow's success, not just in business, but in life? Here's the thing. The new version of work, yes, it will be about technology, but it will also be about being human. Are you able to offer your highest potential? Can you keep learning, keep getting better, stay motivated, stay focused? The best advances in tech and the best capabilities of people coming together, that is the new version of work. Self-awareness, creativity, empathy, trust. These factors will help define your future success. We place a lot of faith in the ability for technology to make things better. My faith is also in people.
So the conversation that I really want to talk about today is how to work more effective, more efficient in your business, and how to really focus on the time that is at hand right now. There's a unique perspective that's happening right now that we're all witnessing, which is that we're stepping into a completely new time and space, which is the fourth industrial revolution. And if we look at how different technologies have impacted the world, definitely the workspace, different industries over the last 100 years, you can see, especially if you look at video where they talked about how many companies were on the S&P 500 30 to 40 years ago that are no longer on it today. Almost 90%. That's quite a bit, right? And we've talked about this before, but 5 years from now, Jim Rohn says it this way. He says, 5 years from now, you will end up in either a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination, depending on how you are proceeding today. And so we have to look at where is your real estate career going to be in 5 years, whether you lean into technology or you lean away from it, right? And really make a conscious decision to use that to your advantage. And a lot of it just comes down to, there was this old philosophy when it comes to working, that in order to make more income, we had to do what? More work, more time, right? So my only way to increase income was to actually add more time into the mix. And we are stepping into a space where that's no longer the reality. You can actually just make your time more valuable, or the hours that you're putting in more valuable, and you can actually work less and do the things that matter most. And so part of that is getting very effective, efficient with tools, technology, resources that can help with that. So the fourth industrial revolution is cyber physical systems, Internet of Things, networks, artificial intelligence, using that to your advantage. And we'll talk about some of those specifically, but here's something that's interesting. This is the rate of change and how that is accelerated or amplified when it comes to technology. How many of you had a pager back in the day? Right? Okay, a few of you. I remember when I was in like, I don't know, maybe 5th grade, 6th grade, I was like, I want to have a pager like my dad has, right? Definitely don't want one of those today, right? And the thing you've got to ask yourself is what new technologies are being created that can actually help you serve your clients in a better light? What can help you to provide better quality service, get more repeat and referral business? And this shows that the rate of change over time accelerates. So technologies, you can see, this is kind of where we're at on a scale, is every day things are changing rapidly. And that rate of acceleration actually is increasing, okay, faster than ever. And so the question is, are you doing the same? Are you adapting to our industry, to the market, to all the things that are going around us? And that's a good internal thing to check in on. So learning faster and governing smarter is the key in this time. So other than ChatGPT, what are some other technologies that you currently use that make you more efficient? Dean.
Just in the multiple listing service, the photo updater.
Yeah.
It literally puts down the descriptions of each photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be super effective, right? It's a great one. What else? Angie, and then Talina. Thank you.
That has been a huge game changer. There's little videos that we send out to clients or to whoever it is that we're like
VA on Loom. But one of the things that's changed on that recently is they've updated a feature where it summarizes what's in the video. So they don't even have to really watch it, and it's going to it brings all the highlights. So it's just like a 2-minute video. And I use that as well to go over things like the settlement statements with the clients. I can record it with my screen on there, run through what the charges are on it, and send it off to them. So it feels like we had a personal conversation, but it takes me 2 minutes instead of 25 minutes. So that one's been a huge one.
That's great. Thank you, Angie. So Loom, L-O-O-M. It's a great Chrome extension. You can also get the app on your phone, and you can click record. It will record your screen, record your headshot if you want. And you can explain something to a client, a customer, or a coworker very simply and send that off. Instead of doing a 15-minute meeting, you can answer a question in 2 minutes. Makes it far more effective for your time. It's a great one. Thank you. You're going to say the same one?
Well, sort of.
Okay, awesome. What else? Amy.
You can do videos, yeah. Yeah. So I use Marco Polo quite a bit, especially like with my out-of-state investors who aren't going to be like looking at properties, like they're, just need me to kind of have eyes on it. So, and then that way it's not like an immediate thing, and also they can revisit. So at the beginning I was using FaceTime a lot, but then it's not something they can go back and look at if they've forgotten, like what the floor plan was, or if the AC was in the attic or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's not something you can go back and reference again. So
sweet. Marco Polo. It's a great one.
Well, I use the new, what is it, the Casa?
Casa. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And I also have used Slide Broadcast, which is especially good for getting out of a short message to a lot of people in a very short period of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cubicasa, for those of you who did not go to that demo that we brought in, that is great for being able to provide a quick floor plan for your clients. I tested that on two different properties, and it's efficient and quick. They got it back within like 10 to 12 hours, a really great floor plan. Cubicasa, and it's tied into, is it Cubic?
It's QB Casa.
Okay, Cubicasa.
Cubic.
Yeah, it's tied into the MLS. So if you go log into the MLS, you'll see it on the left-hand side. And you can get them for free. So they do have some upgrades that you can add on, but the base floor plans are no cost, which is awesome. Great. Any others? Yeah. We'll send out, I'll send out a list. We have a list of 10 different tools that I use that have been very just helpful when it comes to saving time, managing time. And they're kind of, if you want to look at your how you invest your time, you have a finite amount of, that's a finite resource. And so you have to get very creative on how can I make sure that I'm doing things with the highest and best, and make sure that I'm being able to do all the things that I love or enjoy without having to work consistently. So AI is something that you can use as a great tool. I'm going to specifically talk about ChatGPT or OpenAI. And for who is not familiar with it yet? Sweet. Okay, cool. So obviously it's kind of hit the wall. I wish I had this slide that shows the adoption rate of technology. And if you look at things like Instagram, Facebook, all these different platforms, how long it took for them to get to 1 million users. And ChatGPT was like 2 weeks versus Instagram and things like this were like years, right? So seeing how quickly people are now gravitating towards technology is pretty interesting. I don't have that slide on here specifically, but ChatGPT is an advanced language model developed by OpenAI. It can understand and generate human-like text based on the input it receives. Think of it as a highly intelligent virtual assistant that can provide information, answer questions, and engage in natural conversations. So here's a few tips that you can utilize is to define your goal clearly. So before you put some input into ChatGPT, make sure that you are defining what outcome you're wanting. Be concise and specific. Make sure that you focus on something called prompt engineering, okay? Prompt engineering. So the output or what information it sends back to you is highly dependent on what you actually put in. So actually getting very purposeful around how you craft your prompts, and we'll go through a little bit of that, is a big key. And you'll see you'll start to get better responses. Number 4, verify response, okay? Do not take it for gold and say this is the truth, because it is pulling from so many different data sources and it is not fact checking. And so you want to be able to make sure that you are, before you put something out there, that you are actually doing your due diligence and that whatever statistics and things like that are accurate before you put them out there. And then the 5th one is I highly suggest, unlike Talina, don't copy paste because then the professor will find out.
Don't do that.
Right? Make sure that you copy, adjust, and replace, then paste. Okay. So adjust it to fit your own voice, your own tonality, and replace sections if needed, and then go ahead and paste and put it out there. The way I do that is I use Grammarly, which is another. How many people use Grammarly in here? Okay. I am not.
Just you.
Well,
Just kidding.
So Grammarly is a great help as well, where you can put a whole email or an entire text or essay, whatever you want, into Grammarly, and it will actually tell you all the errors and help you correct or
is it an app on your phone?
On your phone, and it's on the
Nice.
web as well. So I'll paste the ad or content from chat and put it into Grammarly and just enhance that writing, but also again, make it my own voice in that setting. So prompt engineering. So your input impacts the output. Your input impacts the output. So here's some steps for effective prompt engineering, okay? Is 1, set clear objectives. So define your desired output. So it can actually spit information out in different formats. And I'll show you what that looks like. Provide content, context and constraints. So be very specific around what you're looking for. And I'll also show you some of that when it comes to the real estate space specifically. Ask targeted questions and then iterate and refine. It's okay once it spits out a response to say, actually change this about the response you just gave me. So you can tell it to adapt things, take things out, enhance things, or further define or clarify some specific pieces. And so make sure that you're using that to your advantage as well. So here's some do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts. Do's. You do want to use it to generate ideas, simulate persona, and provide. Always double check for accuracy. Okay, these are the do's. And when it comes down to this, you want to make sure that you're using this as a tool to save you time to be more effective, but also give your clients more consistency from your service. Okay, how many of you write an email newsletter on a consistent basis each month? 2 of us. Okay. Rob, did you have a question?
No, I was going to say that sometimes it's been known to make up books, references, you're asking for references, creating, but they don't exist.
Yeah, and that's why you have to be the individual that's really going through and fact checking those things that it spits out. If you're creating blog posts, again, what I would suggest is if you do that, use it to create a general idea or theme, but then go through and make sure that you're adjusting it to make it your own. Same thing with the email newsletter. Do not feed confidential info into it. So your client's information, your information, that kind of stuff I would stay away from. And then also do not rely on it without chat or without human oversight. So quite yet, I don't think it's quite ready to plug into your website and have it completely run the show with answering questions and things like that, but maybe down the road. So I'm going to get into a few demos, and I'd love if you guys have some prompts that you'd like me to throw in it to test this out, we can do that. But I'm going to just go through a list that I put together to show you some examples of this. Now, really quickly, for those of you who's used it in the last month, let's say. Wow, cool, about 50%. What are the common things that you use it for right now?
If I'm writing something, I'll just copy a paragraph in there and say, rewrite this. And 80% of the time, it's better than what I did, so.
Yeah, so enhancing your own writing.
Yeah.
Cool. Listing descriptions. That's where I always get stumped. Yeah, that's a good one. Social media.
I use it a ton for captions and different things where you don't want to put too much brain power into it.
Cool. Okay. Well, we'll test a few different things. I try to get a variety of different categories of prompts. So I'll play with these, but if you have some that you want me to throw in, just shout them out and we'll go from there. So this first one is generate a creative and attention-grabbing description for my new listing. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Lehigh. So you can see, again, I'm putting in some very descriptive things. How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms? Yeah. And location, things like that. And then also what I want it to specify, that it's near restaurants and shopping, and also that it has a big backyard. So that's what I want it to remember.
You're using the one that's hooked to the internet, right?
Correct.
So is it going to the MLS and checking our MLS or not?
No. Nope. No, it's just using the text prompt that I gave it and then spitting out a response is all it's doing.
Can you make that larger?
Yeah. Now, in the time that it took for me to answer Rob's question, right, it already spit out that description. Now, what I would go through and do is make tweaks as necessary, but I already have a framework to play with and be able to utilize for that listing. So this is welcome to your dream home oasis in the heart of Lehigh, Utah, nestled on a serene and quiet street. This stunning 3-bedroom, 2-bath home here awaits you with open arms. Step inside. And this, again, is not really my voice. So I would adjust. That sounds exactly some of these things, right? That does. If you ask my wife, she might say that sounds exactly what I sound like. But I would make some adjustments on, and you can tell it that and say, change the first paragraph. Okay.
No wonder the kids.
Yes. So that's why I want to go back to.
This is why high school kids use this. It's actually so nice.
So let's look at what if you're trying to get very tactical on enhancing your business. So this one's describe the top 3 strategies to attract qualified buyers in a competitive real estate market. So what are some ideas for you to lead generate and enhance your business in a time like this? Are you optimizing your online presence? That's number 1. Number 2, are you pricing competitively and strategically? Now, as you can tell on that second one, again, based off of the prompt on what I gave it, it thinks I'm asking, how do I attract buyers to my listing? Okay. And so that's where you can get far more specific if I'm trying to attract buyers as clients into my business. Does that make sense? So you want to get very specific with your prompts. And again, you can say, okay, I need to make a small tweak to this prompt and then put it back through the system. let's say, how often do you have this situation? You're a real estate professional working with a client who believes their home is worth more than the current market will pay. What are two different ways to coach the client into using your comparable market analysis to properly price their home? Okay. So I'm going to pause for just a second. How do you think this can help your specific business to grow for the next, let's focus on just the next 6 months this year? Gordon.
Almost like getting a big group together and like brainstorming ideas and different challenges. Brainstorming chat.
Yeah, brainstorming. Totally.
I saw a thing as well where they were using it to not just not just brainstorm ideas, but then also create content in a way. It was like, create me a Facebook ad that solves this problem for. Yeah, so I saw a thing on, I don't remember where I saw it, but people were using this same strategy, just a little bit of a tweak where they would actually have it create content. And so they'd say, okay, we've identified, these problems that buyers will likely face in this market. So create me a Facebook ad that solves this problem for a buyer in this market. And then it kind of like spits out like an outline of like a Facebook ad that you could potentially create. And so I was thinking that was kind of cool. So I was messing around with that yesterday, trying to come up with different like Facebook or Instagram ads that we could put out that are specific to a target group that we're trying to break into.
For sure.
Right?
Well, let's test that out right now. So Cam, if play with me here, and everybody else, if you want to chime in, what are the top 2 or 3 biggest challenges for buyers right now? Interest rates. Okay. And how is that impacting them?
They can't afford.
Affordability, right?
And some are standing on the sideline waiting to see what.
Totally. So if we were to say, okay, let's create, somebody help me with the prompt here. What do we want to create for a social media ad that is targeting clients with that specific problem? Because we know it's the most consistent problem that's out there, right?
That addresses the issues of affordability.
What else did you say?
Maybe like fire. And then one thing I did with this, because I thought, giving me things that were too long, I was like, keep it under 150.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yep. And you can just do make it shorter.
Yeah, sure.
Great. And again, what it does is it will also remember your prompts that you initially put. So you can say, create an email newsletter with the same prompt.
Our false premise.
Well, that's the thing is, how can you help them get a lower interest rate than what's advertised right now? Right, 8 mortgage hacks, right? Which we have that playbook. Yep. 2 on buy downs, seller financing. There's many options, so you have to provide that. But how do you get people into your lead funnel in the beginning? This one? Oh, the newsletter. So again, there's pieces that you have to go through and adjust and say, okay, this is not the direction I'm wanting it to take. Change this specific paragraph, and this is how I want you to do it. You have something, Hunter?
I was just gonna say, you can sniff out when something's been completely written by ChatGPT. But I have seen lots of people that have posted things and at the end say, by the way, this was fueled by ChatGPT. Like I would recommend using it for like 95% of stuff and then go and putting your own tweaks and then it will be perfect. But if you just copy and paste, I'm telling you, it's gonna sound like a robot. That's my only thing I would say.
Yeah, so part of this too is like the idea generation part is what I think is important. For me, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I am terrible. I get writer's block when I try to write things and I just can't think of the initial starting place. I can take any of those, which I feel like were not the best written on that, especially on that newsletter, and I can work with that and adjust it completely and it won't even sound the same, but I'm not starting from scratch. Starting from scratch is where I personally feel challenged. So this is very helpful when it's, helping create subject lines, help me to create kind of a flow of the conversation. And then from there, you can pick it up to make it your own. Here's some interesting one. So what are different ways? Let's say that you're going to be doing a blog for clients who are real estate investors. So you want to find out what are different ways that landlords can use to maximize income on a rental property, or maybe you are an investor. And you can use this to get strategic on how you're growing your portfolio, or again, ideas to create a blog specifically for that topic for clients.
Or have it write your ads.
Or how, yeah.
Specifically ask for, which lead magnet you're going to use and what your call to action is. So they'll write the call to action at the end, which will be good.
Mm-hmm.
And there are programs out there that will take GPT and rewrite it so you can't pick it up that it's been computer generated.
Also, a side note, with the AI things, the Chat GPT, I believe it like all the data it has like stops like a couple of years ago or something. So if you want like up-to-date statistics and things and really like current information for like if you're doing something with like specific stats in your market or something, I think Google has an AI version that is like current. Like it's just whatever is on the internet is there. So there's not like a stop point of data. And so you could try that as well if you're just trying to gather information. So there's like other sources too that do a similar thing.
Yeah, so just for clarity, so all the data that this is pulling from is pre-December 2021. And so if you ask for current market stats, and actually if you do, because I put current in here, it usually will tell you, okay, I didn't do it on this one, but usually it will say, hey, I don't have data beyond this timeline. I'm going to throw out a blog for you, but you have to go back and update the data. So it usually prompts you on that. But this is not going to be, if we look through here on statistics. Let's see if it will do it. So now what it does is they understand that. So what they'll do is they'll put an X on here for you to go find the actual data. But the actual template itself is created for you. So all you have to do is add the today's number because of that issue. Any other prompts you want to test out?
Yeah, let's have lunch.
Let's have lunch. Let's eat.
Yesterday, I don't know how true it is, but they said the reason why they shut it down yesterday was because it had gone in and hired somebody on Fiverr to do the things that it couldn't do itself, which would mean that it'd have to have some type of financial thing it was being charged to. So I don't know how true that is or not, but that was supposedly the reason why they shut it down.
Huh. Not sure.
I don't know, but I'm going to go in and put, we should do, what was the essay? Oh, should animals live in zoos or not? And I'm going to do a side by side.
of my essay and what they pull up. Because that's what I had to write about.
Do it. See it.
I mean, my eighth grader. Not me.
The real
Wait,
question
so
is,
I do
should
have a
animals
question. So
live?
did the teacher find out that you wrote it for your son?
Well, no, I mean, he helped, but she thought he used Chat GBT. And then because you guys, there is like something that the teachers will run essays through to make sure it's not completely plagiarized. And she said, I ran it through the program, Drew. Sorry, you didn't use Chat GBT. And he's like, yeah, I know. My mom wrote it. But no, he didn't say that.
That kids are good.
It's
At least it
fine.
wasn't
It's fine.
technology,
Yeah. It was the end of the year. You guys all have kids at school. By the end of the year, you're just done. You don't care what happened. Yeah. She doesn't want that, Greg.
Yes. Awesome. Well, highly encourage you, test this out, start using it in your business. There's many different ways. We just went through the business side. There's tons of ways you can use it in life as well to make it just more really helpful and save time. So use that, really focus on up-leveling your effectiveness, your efficiency. We'll send out an email with this. The last piece that I will point out is our hot links. For those who were not at team meeting 2 weeks ago, make sure to scan this on your way out. The new magazine edition for July, it was just launched. So if you go down to the Agent Accelerator magazine, you'll see we now have the past 3 months are on there. So you'll find the July's edition was just thrown out there. So some really cool content inside of it. For those who were not here, this is a new magazine that we put together for you. And there's a lot of cool things that are in here to help you grow your wealth, your business, and your life. So please make sure to reference that. It also has some things you can click on to download the market update for the month. So we already have that ready where it's ready to post on your social media and you can go grab it from the magazine. Cool. Okay. Merry Maids, thank you for lunch. Enjoy the week.